Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Dr. Alan Mandell. Today, I need to talk to you about something that has shaken me to my core. As a doctor, I'm trained to be objective, to look at data, scans, and blood work. I'm trained to believe in the power of medicine, of chemotherapy, of radiation, and I do. But every once in a while, a case crosses my desk that defies all expectations. A case that forces me to look beyond the standard protocols and ask a much deeper question: what is truly possible when it comes to healing? I want to tell you about a patient. For her privacy, I'll call her Linda. I never met Linda in person, but a colleague of mine, an oncologist, asked me to review her case. He was baffled, and frankly, so was I. What I uncovered in Linda's medical files is one of the most unbelievable stories of survival I have ever seen. This isn't just a story of beating the odds. This is a story that redefines what the odds even are. Linda was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer at the age of 52. It had already spread to her bones and her liver. The prognosis was grim. Her doctors, using the best available data, gave her a life expectancy of 6 to 12 months. They told her to get her affairs in order. They offered palliative chemotherapy to try and buy her a little more time, but they made it clear that this was not a curable situation. That was 8 years ago. Today, Linda is 60 years old. She's not just alive, she is thriving. Her latest scan showed no evidence of disease. Her tumor markers are normal. She runs half marathons. She has become a certified health coach and helps other cancer patients navigate their journey. Her oncologist calls her a medical mystery. But is she? Is it a mystery or is it a roadmap? When I dug deep into her files, past the scans and the blood reports, I found a different story. Tucked away in the nurse's notes and her own personal journals were the clues. I discovered a protocol that Linda created for herself, a protocol that she followed with ferocious discipline alongside her standard medical care. And when I cross-referenced what she did with the latest cutting-edge scientific research, I realized this wasn't a miracle. It was biology. It was a story of a woman who, faced with a death sentence, decided to change the very terrain of her body, making it an environment where cancer could not thrive. What I am about to share with you is what I uncovered. These are the pillars of Linda's unbelievable story. And the most shocking part, it's that these are things that every single one of us can do, starting today. This story isn't just about surviving cancer. It's about creating a level of health so profound that disease struggles to exist. I want to be very clear about something before we continue. I am not saying that lifestyle changes alone cure cancer. Linda did her chemotherapy. She worked closely with her oncology team. But what she did alongside that treatment created a synergy, a powerful combination that transformed her outcome. This is about being an active participant in your healing, not a passive recipient. Before we dive in, I want to ask you to think about someone you know who has been touched by cancer. Hold them in your heart as you watch this, because the information here is a message of hope, and hope is a powerful medicine. Let me know in the comments if this is a topic that matters to you. Your engagement helps me know what content serves you best. First, let's address the word miracle. In medicine, we have a term for when a cancer disappears without a clear medical reason: spontaneous remission. It's rare, but it's a well-documented phenomenon, with cases recorded as far back as 1550 BCE. For centuries, we didn't understand how this could happen, but now science is beginning to pull back the curtain. A fascinating 2021 review in the journal Translational Oncology summarized the key mechanisms. The number one driver of spontaneous remission is immune system activation. The body's own immune system, which is often dormant or suppressed in cancer patients, suddenly wakes up and launches a massive attack on the tumor. What can wake up the immune system? Historically, the most common trigger was a severe infection. In the 19th century, a surgeon named Dr. William Coley noticed that his cancer patients who developed a high fever from an infection sometimes saw their tumors shrink or disappear. He even created a concoction of bacteria known as Coley's toxin to intentionally induce this effect. This was the birth of immunotherapy, the idea of using the body's own immune system to fight cancer. Today, we have much more sophisticated ways of doing this, like BCG therapy for bladder cancer, which uses a weakened bacterium to stimulate an immune response. But the principle is the same. Something has to happen to shake the immune system out of its slumber. When I looked at Linda's story, I realized that she didn't get a bacterial infection. Instead, she created a lifestyle-induced immune activation. She systematically did everything in her power to create a biological environment that would supercharge her immune system and make her body a hostile territory for cancer. She built her own personalized immunotherapy, one meal, one step, one breath at a time. Let's break down her protocol. The first pillar is what I call the dietary demolition. The first thing Linda did within days of her diagnosis was a radical overhaul of her diet. And I mean radical. This wasn't a gentle tweak. This was a complete transformation. She didn't just cut back on junk food, she declared war on it. She adopted a strict 100% whole food, plant-based diet. This meant no processed foods, nothing from a box, bag, or can with a long list of ingredients, no refined sugar. She understood that cancer cells are sugar fiends. They consume glucose at a rate 10 to 50 times higher than normal cells, a phenomenon known as the Warburg effect. By starving her body of sugar, she was starving the cancer. No red or processed meat. These are linked to inflammation and certain types of cancer. No inflammatory fats. She eliminated vegetable oils, margarine, and fried foods. What did she eat? She ate the rainbow. Her plate was overflowing with the most powerful anti-cancer compounds on the planet. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and Brussels sprouts. These are packed with sulforaphane, a compound the National Cancer Institute calls one of the most potent cancer-fighting agents ever discovered. It helps the body detoxify carcinogens and can even kill cancer cells directly. Berries like blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries. These are rich in anthocyanins, which a 2008 study showed can selectively kill cancer cells while leaving healthy cells unharmed. Turmeric and black pepper. Turmeric contains curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory. Adding black pepper increases its absorption by 2,000%. Healthy fats like avocados, nuts, seeds, and extra virgin olive oil. A 2023 Harvard study linked a Mediterranean diet rich in olive oil to a 28% lower risk of cancer death. Linda didn't just change her diet, she weaponized it. Every meal was a strategic strike against inflammation, a boost to her immune system, and a deprivation of the fuel her cancer needed to grow. She told me in her journal that she started viewing food differently. It wasn't just calories or taste anymore. It was information. It was medicine. Every bite was either feeding the disease or fighting it. There was no neutral ground. This mindset shift was profound. It gave her a sense of control in a situation that felt completely out of control. The second pillar is what I call the daily mandate of movement. Even when she was exhausted from chemotherapy, even when her bones ached, Linda moved her body every single day. Let me tell you, this was not easy. There were days when she could barely get out of bed. Days when the nausea was overwhelming, but she had made a promise to herself. No matter what, she would move. She started with a slow 10-minute walk. Some days that's all she could manage, but she did it. As she got stronger, the walks got longer. Within a year, she was walking for an hour every day. This wasn't just about feeling better. This was a core part of her treatment. We've talked about the challenge trial before, the landmark study showing that moderate exercise can reduce mortality in colon cancer survivors by a staggering 37%. The benefit was comparable to chemotherapy. How does exercise fight cancer? It's a multi-pronged attack. It boosts your immune system. Exercise increases the circulation of your natural killer cells, the frontline soldiers of your immune system that hunt down and destroy cancer cells. It reduces inflammation. Chronic inflammation is a key driver of cancer growth. Exercise is one of the most powerful anti-inflammatory tools we have. It improves insulin sensitivity. This helps lower blood sugar and insulin levels, further starving cancer cells of their favorite fuel. It reduces stress. As we'll see, this is critically important. For Linda, exercise was also a profound act of empowerment. As a Cornell study found, while cancer survivors often feel distressed about diet, exercise helps them feel like they are taking back control. In a situation where she felt powerless, her daily walk was something she could control. It was a declaration that she was an active participant in her own healing. She wrote in her journal, "Every step I take is a step away from death and toward life. My body may be sick, but it is not broken. It is still capable. It is still strong, and I will prove that to myself every single day." That mindset, that fierce determination, was just as important as the physical movement itself. The third pillar is what I call the radical act of rest. In our high-stress, hustle culture world, we often see stress as a necessary evil and sleep as a luxury. Linda came to see them as a matter of life and death. She made stress reduction and sleep a non-negotiable part of her protocol. This was perhaps the hardest change for her. She had spent her whole life as a high achiever, always busy, always productive. The idea of sitting still for 20 minutes felt like a waste of time, but she did it anyway. She started meditating 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night. She used guided meditation apps to help her. This practice helped her manage the immense fear and anxiety that comes with a cancer diagnosis. But it was doing more than that. It was lowering her cortisol levels. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, suppresses the immune system. By managing her stress, she was taking the brakes off her immune cells, allowing them to do their job. She also became ruthless about protecting her sleep. She aimed for 8 to 9 hours of high-quality sleep every single night. Sleep is when your body does its most important repair work. It's when your immune system is most active in cleaning up damaged cells and hunting down pathogens. A lack of sleep is a form of chronic stress that your body's ability to heal. Linda created a sanctuary in her bedroom, blackout curtains, no screens, a cool temperature. She made sleep a sacred healing ritual. She would tell herself, "This is not laziness. This is medicine. Every hour of sleep is an hour my body is fighting for me." And the science backs this up completely. Studies show that people who sleep less than 7 hours a night have a significantly higher risk of cancer recurrence. Sleep is not optional, it is essential. The fourth and final pillar is what I call the power of the tribe. Linda's oncologist told me that one of the most significant things she did was join a cancer support group. At first she resisted. She didn't want to be around sick people. She didn't want to be reminded of her diagnosis, but her doctor insisted, and reluctantly she went to her first meeting. She found a community of people who understood what she was going through. They shared stories, fears, and hopes. They celebrated small victories and supported each other through setbacks. This isn't just a feel-good story. The science on this is incredibly clear. Loneliness is a profound health risk comparable to smoking or obesity. Social connection, on the other hand, is a powerful medicine. It releases oxytocin, which lowers stress and inflammation. It provides a sense of belonging and purpose, which are incredibly strong predictors of longevity. Linda's tribe gave her the emotional resilience to stick with her demanding protocol. When she wanted to give up, they encouraged her. When she was scared, they listened. They were a critical part of her extended immune system. They were the buffer that protected her from the despair that can be just as deadly as the disease itself. She told me that one woman in her group, who had been cancer-free for 5 years, became her mentor. This woman would call her every week just to check in. On the hard days when Linda wanted to eat a donut or skip her walk, this woman would remind her why she was doing this. She would say, "You're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for your daughter. You're fighting for your future grandchildren. You're fighting to show the world what's possible." That accountability, that love, was priceless. So what happened? Linda followed this 4-pillar protocol with unwavering consistency, all while undergoing her standard chemotherapy. At first, the changes were small. She noticed she had a bit more energy. She was tolerating the chemo better than her doctors expected. Her blood work was better than anticipated. Her white blood cell count, which usually plummets during chemo, was staying relatively stable. Her nurses commented on how well she looked compared to other patients at the same stage of treatment. Then, at her 6-month scan, something remarkable happened. The tumors in her liver had shrunk by 30%. Her oncologist was surprised but cautiously optimistic. He told her, "Whatever you're doing, it's working. Keep it up." At her 1-year scan, the tumors had shrunk by 70%. The lesions in her bones were stabilizing. Her tumor markers, which measure the amount of cancer activity in the blood, had dropped from dangerously high to nearly normal. Her doctor told her, "I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it." He was genuinely amazed. He had seen thousands of cancer patients, but he had never seen a response quite like this. Linda showed him her food journal, her exercise log, her meditation app. He looked at it all and said, "This is incredible. You've essentially created your own." By the 2-year mark, her scans were clear. No evidence of disease. She was in complete remission. 8 years later, she remains cancer-free. She has dedicated her life to sharing her story and helping others. She became a certified health coach specializing in cancer survivors. She runs workshops, she speaks at conferences, and she mentors newly diagnosed patients. She is a living testament to the power of the human body to heal when given the right conditions. And here's what's even more remarkable. Linda is not unique. There are thousands of stories like hers, people who were told they had no hope, who decided to take control of what they could control, and who defied the odds. These stories don't make the headlines. They don't get published in medical journals, but they are real, and they are a roadmap for anyone facing a serious diagnosis. So, what can we learn from Linda's unbelievable story? This is not about rejecting conventional medicine. Linda did her chemotherapy. This is about what you can do in addition to it. It's about recognizing that you are not a passive victim in your health journey. You are the most powerful player on the team. Linda's story shows us that by systematically changing our internal environment, by lowering inflammation, boosting our immune system, starving cancer cells of fuel, and managing stress, we can create a body where disease struggles to survive. This isn't a miracle. This is a strategy. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Dr. Sarah, this sounds too good to be true. If it were this simple, wouldn't everyone be doing it? And that's a fair question. The truth is, it's not simple. It's actually incredibly hard. It requires discipline, commitment, and a level of self-awareness that most people struggle to maintain. Linda succeeded because she was facing death. She had the ultimate motivation, but you don't have to wait for a diagnosis to start building a body that is resilient and strong. Let me also address another concern. Some of you might be worried that I'm giving false hope to people with cancer, that I'm suggesting they can cure themselves with kale and meditation. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. Cancer is a complex, multifaceted disease. There is no one-size-fits-all cure. What worked for Linda might not work for everyone, but the science is clear. Lifestyle factors matter. They matter a lot. And for many people, they can be the difference between life and death. A 2019 study published in the journal Cancer found that cancer survivors who followed a healthy lifestyle, including a good diet, regular exercise, and stress management, had a 42% lower risk of death from any cause compared to those who didn't. That's not a small number. That's almost half. So, even if lifestyle changes don't cure your cancer, they can significantly improve your quality of life and your chances of survival. I also want to talk about something that Linda mentioned to me in one of her journal entries. She said that the hardest part of her journey wasn't the physical changes. It was the mental and emotional transformation. She had to let go of her old identity as a busy, stressed-out executive who lived on coffee and takeout. She had to become someone new, someone who prioritized her health above everything else, someone who said no to things that didn't serve her, someone who set boundaries and asked for help. This identity shift is crucial. You can't just change your diet and exercise routine and expect everything to fall into place. You have to change how you see yourself. You have to believe that you are worth the effort. You have to believe that your health is your most valuable asset, and you have to be willing to fight for it even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Sighs and gasps. Linda also talked about the role of gratitude in her healing. Every morning, before she got out of bed, she would list 3 things she was grateful for. Some days it was as simple as, I'm grateful I can breathe. I'm grateful for the sunrise. I'm grateful for my daughter. This practice helped her shift her focus from what she had lost to what she still had. It gave her a reason to keep going, and the science supports this too. Studies show that gratitude practices can lower stress, improve sleep, and even boost immune function. It's a simple tool, but it's incredibly powerful. Another thing that Linda did that I think is worth mentioning is that she educated herself. She didn't just blindly follow her doctor's orders. She read books, she watched documentaries, she joined online forums, she became an expert on her own disease. This empowered her to have informed conversations with her oncology team. She could ask intelligent questions, she could advocate for herself, and her doctors respected her for it. They saw her as a partner in her care, not just a patient. Now, I want to be very clear. I'm not suggesting that you should ignore your doctor's advice or go rogue with alternative treatments. What I'm saying is that you should be an active, informed participant in your own health care. You should understand your diagnosis, your treatment options, and the potential side effects. You should ask questions. You should seek second opinions if you need to, and you should absolutely explore evidence-based lifestyle interventions that can support your treatment. One more thing I want to share with you. Linda told me that she created a vision board. She put pictures on it of all the things she wanted to do once she was healthy. She wanted to see her daughter graduate from college. She wanted to travel to Italy. She wanted to run a 5K. She looked at that board every single day. It was her North Star. It reminded her why she was doing all of this hard work. And you know what? She's done all of those things now. She saw her daughter graduate. She went to Italy. She's run multiple 5Ks. And even a few half marathons. She turned her vision into reality. This is the power of having a clear, compelling reason to live. It's not enough to just not want to die. You have to want to live. You have to have something to live for, a purpose, a mission, a dream. That's what will carry you through the darkest days. If the story has moved you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It is my mission to bring this kind of empowering, science-backed information to as many people as possible. And now, I want you to make a commitment. Linda's journey started with one small step. What will yours be? In the comments below, tell me one pillar from Linda's story, diet, movement, rest, or tribe, that you will focus on this week. Just one. Let's honor Linda's journey by starting our own. Thank you for being here. Remember, no matter what you are facing, you have more power than you think. Hope, combined with action, is the most potent medicine of all.